Welcome to the Sam and Joe VA Show, where we teach women just like you how to start and scale a thriving virtual assistant business.
We're your hosts, Sam and Joe, and get ready to have the control, flexibility, and freedom you've always dreamed of.
Welcome to episode 130. This is costing you 5 times more.
And this fact is going to blow some of your minds. Well, better now after that big intro. Would you believe that it costs 5 times more to find a brand new client than it does to keep your existing one happy?
That is mind-blowing. 5 times more. And you might think, oh, but that doesn't cost me anything to get a new client.
Oh, want to bet?
There's a lot of things that build on that cost of bringing in that new client. And the biggest one is your time.
Huge. Time and energy, massive.
The time it takes for you to market, to bring in a lead or an inquiry, to have the sales call, that discovery call like that. You might have a discovery call that's like 30 to 45 minutes, let alone the prep that you do, having a look at the company and finding stuff out about them. Like, discovery call is quite a chunk of time.
Yeah, because you're not just turning up for that 30 minutes, are you?
Mhm.
Like, you've done some research before that. You're going in prepared, knowing what the client's business is all about.
Mhm.
The prep time, the actual time, the follow-up time, just the stress as well. Let's touch on the stress, that worry that you always feel if you don't have enough clients.
Mhm.
That anxiousness that you feel when you feel like you're chasing clients.
Mhm. That
The
kind of desperation of needing them for the financial reason of needing a client, right?
Yeah, imagine not feeling that on a regular basis.
Mm.
Imagine being fully booked with clients that are super satisfied, that you love to work with, that are gonna the relationships that are gonna last.
Mm.
So, instead of having to chase clients on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, you're talking like a yearly basis.
Mhm.
Wow,
Yeah, that's the ultimate, isn't it?
that sounds awesome.
Uh, so once you've had the discovery call too, there's also the time of putting together a proposal,
Mhm.
like what you're gonna recommend, writing that up. There's actually quite a lot of time.
Loads. Loads. So you can see just from what we've just discussed in the last minute or so, Joe, 5 times more expensive to do all that than just put some time and energy into your current clients.
Mhm.
Building that loyalty, making sure that they are so happy they are singing your name from the rooftops, so you get
Well,
all
that's
those lovely referrals.
exactly. The leads that you can get from your existing clients are really quality too. Not just, anyone and everyone who might inquire through your own kind of marketing, but the ones that come from your existing clients, they're kind of like
Mm.
pre-qualified. Your client already likes them and knows them. The client's already half sold the service to them, and they are often in that same kind of network of your existing clients. So they're the same kind of person, same kind of client often. So they're going to be your best clients
Ah,
to bring on.
they very often are the best. Yeah.
Mm.
All right, let's talk about, the number one or the top reasons why virtual assistants lose their clients.
Mhm. Yep. Number 1, communication.
Ah, all the time.
Poor communication in all sorts of things. Like, it could be that you don't communicate with them to check in and ask them
Mhm.
how the service is actually going openly, and asking for their honesty and having that door wide open for them to actually tell you how they feel.
And listening. Listening
Mm.
is so important. actually taking that feedback on board, and maybe not even official feedback, reading between the lines, going with your gut. I reckon everybody knows when a client is kind of maybe not entirely satisfied for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Jump on that.
Yeah, like that's the time to communicate. So you feel like that could be a possibility that they are unhappy, over communicate with them.
Mm,
Start letting them know exactly where things are at. Ask them questions, listen to them, pick up the phone, build that relationship with them. That is the key time to what's the like key opportunity for you to rectify things and turn things
yes.
around.
Yeah. And in terms of communication, also, they want prompt communication. So
Mm.
if they email you, or if they leave you a message, or if they put a note in Asana or whatever other comms tool that you're using with them, they want a prompt response. They want to feel like they are your number one priority.
Mhm. Every single one of your clients wants to feel like
Yeah.
you're number one priority.
So, I mean, that can be a juggle, right? If
Mhm.
especially for the freelancers listening who have got multiple clients, like, how do you ensure that each and every one of your clients feels like they are number one?
And do you know what it is?
What?
Great
Yeah,
communication.
goes back
Like,
to communication. Yeah.
it's so it's we know that it's not easy, but it's so simple. It's so simple that clients won't leave you if you communicate really well. The good, the bad, the ugly, the checking in regularly, the how's
Yeah.
things going, the projects, the updates, this is how I'm going with the tasks. Like it's all communication. As boring
Mm.
as it is, it is all communication.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it does sound really boring, but it's not. It's super, super important. But I bet that we have listeners that if they really stop and think about it, especially those that feel as though they've been chasing clients for a long time, that that feeling, you know that if you've got a whole heap of discovery calls that week, that is where you're putting your time and energy to, is
Mm,
impressing the new ones
mhm.
rather than impressing the current ones and
And
responding really promptly.
yeah, we do. We neglect our current clients because we kind of take them for granted as well. It's like that in our relationships, right? The person that we should be giving the most attention and communication with, our partner, is the one that we often neglect.
It's so
Like, we take them
true.
for granted because we think they're always gonna be around, so we're out, like, building relationships with other people and our friends and,
Yeah,
business relationships and stuff, but it actually should be our partners. So if we think
yeah.
about that in terms of business, look after those who have actually had a relationship with you, committed to you, they, have signed the contract, and they are asking for your help and support in their business. Those are the ones that you should be focusing your time and energy on.
Mm. So for everybody that was thinking that we were gonna say the number one reason clients leave is 'cause they just are dissatisfied with the service that you're providing, no, no,
No.
you can be amazing at the services that you provide, and you will be losing clients if you are not, as we said, communicating really, really well and making those clients feel like they're number one.
Yeah. And if a client feels like you don't care, then they're going to be like, oh, they don't really care if I move to someone else where I am happier.
Yeah,
I think you'll be fine with it. So
yeah.
make sure that the relationship that you have with them is so open and transparent that
Mm,
they would tell you if something wasn't wrong because you have created the environment that would allow that safe conversation and for them to feel like they could. And you're not just going to throw your toys and be like, oh, then I don't want to work with you. Because they have that fear too, that if they are
mhm.
honest and transparent and open, that you might do that. So make sure you give them every indication that you are welcoming their honest feedback and you're willing to commit to them and build that relationship and turn things around, do better, improve.
Yeah, if you're really confident in your skills and your abilities, um, Don't assume that your clients are happy.
Mm, mhm. And also don't assume that they're unhappy as well. Like, that's often why virtual assistants don't pick up the phone and talk to their clients, because they're like, "Oh, but then they might tell me that something's not right, and, like, if I just keep going and doing the work and deal with them on email, then they won't say that they're unhappy." Like, that's really not good either.
Oh, so we're just gonna ignore the elephant in the room, are we? Let's just head in the sand, pretend it's not happening.
Mhm,
That's never a good strategy, whether it's business or life in general. Never a
mhm,
good strategy.
mm. So if you and I know that there are virtual assistants who 100% do this, where every single comms right from the very beginning has only ever been on email or some kind of chat tool or text, and you haven't talked to your client on the phone or Zoom. If you haven't spoken to your client on the phone this month within a 30-day period, then it is well and truly overdue that you need to pick up the phone and talk to them person to person, voice to voice, face to face.
Oh my god, that concerns me. That
Uh-huh.
concerns me that that's even happening.
That is happening. 100% happening.
Oh, please, no. For the
Mhm.
love of God, no.
'Cause we're also afraid of the phone now, aren't we?
Oh, well, I don't
Like
like answering the phone, you know this. You know
like,
this.
but you would call a client if there was a problem, or if
Oh,
you hadn't checked in with them, or if you were doing work for them on a regular basis, because you know it's the
absolutely.
fastest way, right, to
Yeah, look, yeah, phone
communicate.
is definitely not my preferred method of communication, but if as soon as there's any kind of, little inkling that something isn't going to plan, picking up the phone for sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
And for those overseas clients, because, a lot of us do have overseas clients because we can work for anyone, anywhere,
Mm.
Zoom, you hop on a Zoom with them.
Yeah. Make it a regular catch up that you have.
Oi, oi, oi. That's just that's
Mm.
thrown me for a loop, that there are virtual assistants not doing that, Joe. That
Mhm.
hadn't even occurred to me.
Yeah. And do you know what? Some virtual assistants have brought on a client and never spoken to them on the phone, not even had a discovery call. Everything has been on email.
Okay, so I had one of those. Overseas client, um, offered I t a absolutely offered, "Let's hop on a Zoom." It was a project, so it wasn't an ongoing regular client, but it was still a pretty decent project.
Mhm.
She just didn't wanna do it.
Mm.
And I was like, "Is this a red flag?" Potentially, but I got a deposit and everything was fine. But I tell you what, it was a weird project to work on. Like, it never felt as if
Mm.
it flowed.
Mm.
I never really felt as though I was delivering because it's really hard to figure out what they want via
Yeah.
email.
Yeah. Too many
Yeah.
miscommunications on when it's
Mm.
just on email. Like, email's a great thing for, like, once you've had a phone call, you've got all the information, you've asked all the questions, they've asked you the questions. Email is a great way to reconfirm
Yes.
everything that has been agreed, so it's
Yes.
in writing. It's not a place for back and forwards, asking all the questions, getting all the details. Like, that's the phone, and the relationship that you build when you're on the phone with that person. Oh, they are not going to just suddenly up and leave, because they have the relationship with you.
Yeah.
They've spoken to you. You're a real human talking to another human. Clients just don't leave if you've spoken to them on the phone and have built the relationship.
And they definitely don't ghost you.
Mm,
They don't ghost you. Yeah.
no,
It's
no.
easy to ghost somebody who you haven't spoken
Mhm,
to that way or seen on
mm,
a Zoom call that way. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Shall we talk about the things that virtual assistants can do in order to keep their clients happy and made to feel like they're a priority
Mhm,
besides that all important communication? And we're going to assume that these virtual assistants are actually doing a really good job in terms of the services that they're providing
yeah,
as well.
yeah. The one that I love the most is being proactive and anticipating the client's needs.
Ah,
That
uh-huh.
really levels up a average virtual assistant from to a really, like, premium
Mm,
virtual assistant who's doing an awesome job, because the value jump in reactive to proactive, oh, clients love this because it takes so much out of their headspace
Yeah.
and their overwhelm when you're anticipating what they're going to need and proactively coming up with, ideas, tasks, things that you need to do. Being proactive. Oh, it's so much nicer for a client when you're proactive rather
Yeah.
than them having to come up and think about all of the things that are required.
And they will feel as though they're getting a really good return on their investment.
Mhm.
If they're paying a top dollar for you,
Yeah.
then you have to be doing this.
Yeah.
You can't be sitting back waiting for the email to land in your inbox with the next task.
Mhm.
That is for a virtual assistant that is charging out at a lower rate for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. Should I tell you one that I really enjoy?
Yeah.
I think it's up there, and that is and it's much easier to do if you have got a specialty or niche service, is
Mhm.
keeping up to date with all of the latest tools and trends. Like, you're all over everything. Like, the first hint that something's changing in something, or there's just an overall industry thing that your client needs to know about, you're on there, you're letting them know
Mhm.
this is how this is gonna level up your own business.
Mhm. Oh, that is a huge valuable part
Mhm.
of, your service and how a client is going to feel like, "Wow, this is awesome," because they don't have to look out for the trends and the tools and the
Yes.
things that are changing because you're already telling them. That's so valuable. Again, it's that, like, they don't have to have that in their head. They don't have to have that time thinking about those things or researching.
You're the expert, right?
Mhm.
Especially important if you are offering services like social media marketing, like stuff
Mm,
changes just like that in that type of industry and professional. If you're doing web design, like, you need to be all over the latest trends around that as well.
yeah. Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah, because that's gonna help you then position yourself as the go-to virtual assistant, and that client's gonna be so happy that those referrals, they're gonna be super
Mhm.
clear on what you can do, that you're delivering a great service, and then they're gonna be talking about you and recommending you.
'Cause they trust you more.
Mhm.
You know, those stories that we hear about clients, and we've both experienced clients like this at some point in our own careers, the clients that don't value you, that don't listen, that don't necessarily believe the advice that you're giving. Like, is there a reason for that? Sometimes it is
Mm.
on the client. It's just the client, it's just the way they are, right? They need to do things around their own time. They need to hear it from a different person in order for it to really sink in. But
Mm.
sometimes it's you and the way that you're communicating that advice and the way that you've positioned yourself as
Mm.
a virtual assistant.
Yeah, I mean, the great example is so we have a service provider that's providing a social media service to us, and every month she gives us like, "Hey, this is where I see that we can have some improvements. This is where I think we should
Mhm.
focus. This is what's changed in Instagram. This is this is like what I see of your top performing posts, and this is what you could do to really like gain some more traction on this. Your audience is loving this." Like all of that,
Yeah.
super valuable. And that's why she is still helping us with social media because that is the valuable stuff. It's not the
Yeah.
posting or the like that kind of stuff. It's the, hey, this is what I see. This is how we can improve things. We're like, yes, she's prioritizing us
Yes.
and we feel important and that
Yes.
she's taking the time to make sure that she's
Yes.
delivering a great service.
And I mean, and that is one of the reasons we hired her, was because she has positioned herself to be an expert in her field,
Mm.
specifically, concentrating on Instagram.
Yep. One
And
thing,
it's
we know she's keeping up to date with it.
yeah, and
Mm.
we trust all
Yeah.
that advice. Like, don't question it. If she is suggesting we do something, even if it's completely opposite to what we're currently doing, we trust that she knows her stuff. Shout
Yeah.
out to Chrissy, by the way. Thanks, Chrissy.
All right, and the other kinda way to keep your clients or get another opportunity for you to keep your clients happy and, feeling like they are loved and that you care about them is to reward them, reward that loyalty in some way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's once again, I mean, okay, how do you feel when you get something unexpected from somebody that you've worked with? or even just somebody that you love that's in your network that you care about. So, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a big, huge gift. Like sometimes it's just words, right? Or just an unexpected little card, a handwritten card. I mean, it can be Christmas presents. It can be thank you presents or little tokens for referrals, but it doesn't have to cost money.
No, it doesn't. And the way that you feel is important. You
So
feel
important.
really important and cared about and a priority for that person. It's such
Yeah.
a nice feeling. So why would you ever leave as a client if your VA was rewarding you and saying thank you and sending you things or sending notes or something?
Yeah.
Like Sam says, it doesn't have to cost lots of money.
Yeah, it's not about the stuff. You're not sticking with that client because they give you stuff. You're sticking with the client because how you have felt because of that gesture.
Yes.
You feel cared about, you feel
Mm.
appreciated, you feel valued. So it works both ways.
Yeah. All right. Anything else we want to cover in here?
Yeah, I've got one more thing.
Yeah.
Following through. So it's meeting those milestones. It's being really, really honest when you are talking about projects and timeframes, not kind of what's the term? Like over promising. Like
Over promising, under delivering.
yes. Yes. So it's the opposite of that. It's being really realistic. If you know that next week you are slammed with 2 or 3 other clients' priorities that they've already let you know about, then you've got to be really honest about it. If client number 3 comes to you and wants something done in the same kind of time frame, like, can you actually deliver on that? They would rather you be honest and say, you know what, not gonna get done. I could say I'm gonna try, but I know for a doubt I'm not gonna follow through, and you are then gonna be left disappointed when that happens.
Yeah. This is for those people pleasers out there.
If
you're a people pleaser and you find yourself saying, yes, not a problem constantly, that is not going to keep your clients. It's going to do the opposite. You think that you're doing the right thing and pleasing them, but it's actually making them really frustrated and likely to leave.
It kind of edges into that honesty and transparency as well a wee bit, because you actually aren't being honest with them.
Yeah, it's detrimental, isn't it? When you think that you're being so nice.
You think you're doing the right thing, but you're actually not. You're actually not doing the right thing. Follow through. If you're committing to something, you make sure that you are going to be able to deliver on that commitment. Don't disappoint them. Don't disappoint them.
So this, trying to find new clients constantly and not looking after your current clients is costing you 5 times more in so many things: time, money, effort, stress, overwhelm. Focus on those current clients. Keep them super, super happy. Follow all of the tips that we have. We hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Sam and Joe VA Show. If you'd like to find out more, head to the VA Foundry website to check out the Members Club and the amazing resources, training, and coaching.
You can find us at thevafoundry.com.